Hey there, and welcome to an all new episode of Wicked Unscripted, where we have unscripted conversations about some of the most popular reality shows on television. My name is Abigail Adams. I'm your host for this podcast. Joining me today, as always, is the lovely Sarah Talks, and we are back to discuss episode 10 of Survivor 46. The season is flying by.
Brought to you by Applebee's.
I wish, actually. Disclaimer, legal disclaimer, not actually brought to you by Apple.
The only
Applebee's
time I can imagine Applebee's hitting that hard would be after starving on an island for 14 days.
Oh no, like that is always one of my favorite moments. And I'm also gonna say I think Applebee's politely used to hit a little bit more back in the day when they would spend a little bit more on ingredients.
They do have a bomb ass happy hour. I will say that.
Yeah. I technically have one near me, but like we don't ever go because it's the only one in the area. And it's just like when people go, everybody just flocks there. And it's like, I don't want to go to a busy Applebee's.
I will say this though. Okay, they got this one menu item, and I used to hit up Applebee's all the time when I was doing this like calorie deficient program. And they have this one thing. So their salads, by the way, ridiculously high calories. But the wonton tacos are legit so good. And they were like okay to eat. They were like lower on the calorie scale and as far as caloric density and all that jazz that I follow. But those are really, really good. And those did drive me to Applebee's. But I don't.
If I needed a cheap place to go, I'd go there. It's like I think part of it is I don't go out.
Nothing's cheap anymore. Not even Applebee's.
No. Politely.
It did look really fucking good though. I don't think I've ever gotten anything at Applebee's that looked that appetizing. So like they brought their A game when they brought the chefs to nuke those burgers.
I was gonna say
they look real good.
There's so much to talk about. Also, I'm gonna guarantee you those are probably a little bit more higher quality ingredient than
you know what? I follow a lot of those accounts. I don't know if you've seen them on TikTok where they're like behind food photography and it shows you like all the weird shit they do to food before they photograph it. But like the actual like plates that were put down in front, it all looked really good. It looked good. Actually, I'm starting to get really hungry talking about it.
I know my boyfriend's bringing home food and I'm just like, oh, now I need it.
Or maybe I'm just feeling empathy for Liz, like who knows?
Oh God. Well,
so much to talk about it in this episode though. And like, I mean, I feel like so many wrong moves were made, but so many chef's kiss chaotic moments were made as well. So
yeah, and I mean a lot of it, I can't remember who said it. I'm sure it was probably somebody from Rob Has a Podcast. But it was like there's so much that was focused on Liz when really like it was like the Maria show. And it's not that it wasn't like there wasn't tons of Maria too, because like it was really her big move. But like it was just interesting to see like it's because especially Liz has been the person all season long who has been like this person's stealing my thunder, I'm making the move, this person's taking the attention away from my move, and now it's like all of a sudden the reverse where she's on the other side of it.
Here's the thing though. This is my thing. Yes, Liz has been all about her move, and she fucking blew it in this episode. I mean, we know she blew her lid. We get it. We saw that. But as far as like game strategy goes, she absolutely blew what could have been her move because I've thought this through. I was feeling like a lot of ways in the moment watching the episode, but as I've sat, as I've digested, as I've slept on it, and I was thinking through like on my drive home today, I was like, I knew we were going to do the podcast and like thinking through the episode. Here's what I thought. If Liz, and I said this last night in the Discord, but now like it's just more solidified. If Liz had taken this conversation from Maria and gone to Tiffany and told Tiffany to play her idol, okay, that could have been her move right there. The move where she then took not just saved Tiffany, gotten Q out, and then boom, all the Q votes and she has people, they have 4. It would be 4-3 moving forward. They have the majority moving forward and they could have all banded together. Q would have been gone. She would have gotten Tiffany, who could have won comps for her. And it would have just been the other three on the outlet. She would have pulled in Kenzie because Kenzie would have like immediately looked at Mariah. And so she could have latched on to something there. And I feel like that would have been her resume move.
Yep.
I feel like, yes, there is a risk there that she goes home the next week or it makes her a target, but I don't see a way for Liz to win the game at this point, period. So I just feel like that should have been her move.
Yeah,
Oh
there
my
was
god, I'm
so
sorry,
much. We saw the are you Gooch?
I have like there it goes. I found it. There I just kept seeing and feeling a hair, but then I couldn't
Like,
anyway.
where is it? Yeah, no, I mean, we saw like the many sides of Liz. I mean, especially over the last few episodes in general, but like there was a point in the last few episodes where I was like, "Damn, this girl could actually walk away with this whole damn game." And then towards the end of the last episode, I was like, not so sure. And then this episode, I mean, I still think there are opportunities for her to have the pendulum swing back the other way if she can make the right moves, but this
Mhm.
wasn't the right foot to go on. Like she could have started that backswing by making this move. Even as like simple as tying the vote and forcing a revote, but I'm not sure that really would have been a great
No.
decision because we're not really trying to go to rocks though, are we? But I'm just saying like there were far other moves that she could have done besides just going with this. This is just a follower move.
Yes.
Like it doesn't add anything to her resume, and like this is the time when she needs the big move to like really also show people like, yeah, maybe I had a little bit of a moment because we all have some moments.
Yeah.
But like it was just a moment. Like, here, I'm
See,
still here to play the game.
and she could have actually played this like had a strategy with Tiffany saying like, "Hey, they're going to vote you. Um I so you play your idol. I'm going to put your name down so that they think that I'm with them and then we can go after." So she could have like played the middle here because then she could have
Yeah.
kept numbers on the other side.
Yep.
Tiffany played her idol. What are we going to do? Q's out, but now she's gained Tiffany's trust. Like there was so much opportunity here. I feel like she really, really, really missed out on getting because right now she doesn't really have a solid spot. She's not solid with anybody. Um,
No. And I
but
I
she
I
could have
don't know if
played
she
it. She could have
understands how.
played like they came
Sorry.
to me that I'm the deciding vote. So I'm gonna do that, but I want to work with you. So play your idol, and then we would have the numbers for next week. Um, and that would also keep the peace until like whoever wins immunity next, which we know it wouldn't be Q. So like that's a selling point there that like you can get another competition threat out. She can play both sides for at least a week. That does put her in a bit of a position with Tiffany, but and you flush an idol in the process.
Just ugh. You took so much out of my mouth, by the way. So
Sorry.
perfection. Oh no, beautiful. No, awesome. Um, and I don't think it looks good either that like she's been so hell bent on getting Q out and like she wasn't willing to try and even force that move. You know what I mean? Like it just I really want to know more. I hope we can hear more about her thought process when we get
Yeah.
back to camp in the morning. Like, I really want to know if she
She really
is.
wanted that burger and it fucked up her thought process and she couldn't think clearly. All she was seeing was just bacon burgers, bourbon burgers. Her
I
bourbon
don't know.
burger.
I just wonder, and I'm not saying I think she necessarily is, but I do wonder if she has thought a couple steps ahead and been like, okay, maybe in this time I can let somebody have their big move, but like my move's coming. Bleh. I'm not saying I know exactly what she'd
Yeah.
be thinking there because I couldn't necessarily predict what that move would even be per se, unless it's like I'm trying to think. I haven't thought that out at all, so I guess that would just be thinking on a whim. But yeah, it's interesting to think about. Um,
Lucas is eating chilies while watching
y'all are
while
killing
watching the
me.
pod.
You're killing me.
I
Love. I need
am
that.
freaking hungry though.
I'm
Um,
hangry like Liz was hangry. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. So yes, I said last week and I'm eating my word. Like there was absolutely no reason this is one of the reasons it's so frustrating to me. um, is that there was absolutely no reason for Tiffany to not play her idol. Um, Jeff all but told her to play her idol. The tribal council, like he was just using so many words, talking about so many blind sides. But like on top of everything else, if for no other reason, if everyone, including Q, is saying Q is going home and Q is not playing his shot in the dark, babe, what are you doing? Does anyone have an advantage or an idol that they want to play? And Q didn't play his shot in the dark? Bam, ma'am. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Well, and it's another case of I don't know how many times we've talked about it this season. It's been with both other idol flushes where these players have been so damn confident that they know exactly where the vote is going and where the vote sits. It's like that should be your number one red flag. Like one of the important things, say it every week on the show. They show you everything for a reason. Most for the most part. Sometimes they like to show you just doing cha-cha stuff, but I bet you if honestly even went back to that, there'd be something there that we would pick up on. But like it one of the things that Tiffany said, like one of the first things she said as they got back to camp is like everybody's talking Q. It's pretty open and shut. Like there is no question that this is what's going on at this point, and like I don't really need to sweat this vote. It's like no, that is the number one red flag that you need to be concerned. They're
Yeah.
setting it up to be that way, and it's
Okay, and like we said last week, like I don't want to be a broken record, but play your damn idol. Another one will get released. Like
as we literally see them go hunting for it.
you
Also, why was nobody hunting for Hunter's idol this
Thank
week?
you. That was another point I was going to bring up today. Like no one was out hunting unless they didn't get to it in the Applebee's Liz of it all.
Which is very true.
Yeah. But like first, like I have so many questions. Like why didn't Q play his shot in the dark here? And I get it that like he kind of he needed the vote there, but like
I almost feel like
that's a lot of faith. You just
I
put a
almost feel like
lot of
he
faith
either
into somebody who's been working with you for like 12 hours.
I feel, and I don't really think he's forgotten about it, but it's like he either forgot that it exists as a move. I don't really think that's the case, or it's like I just think he'd rather just be voted out than lose his vote. I think
So,
his vote
who
is too
knows what
precious
Q's
to
thinking
him.
at any point in time.
Well, I don't judge people because like honestly putting myself in anybody's shoes, like I would have a hard time playing my own shot in the dark if I understood that my vote had weight to it in terms of where
Yeah.
this vote can lie.
No,
And
he gets
that's where
way
that
more of
could
a pass
be.
than Tiffany does. Tiffany's too smart for this shit. Like
Oh,
it's
she just got a little too cocky, a little just at the wrong time. She just got so confident, and it was like the wrong point to be confident like
I
that.
mean,
It's like
I was screaming it last night. I was like, my flabber is properly gasted. I can't understand what's happening this season. Did we ever find out if this is a record for most idols left in
so it's
pocket?
tied for the record for Island of the Idols for
Okay.
most flushed idols. If we get
Ridiculous.
another one, and okay, I need to clarify something because I made a TikTok about all of this last night. And it's like I did the history book on the shelf keeps repeating itself, and I put the 3 people who were like voted out with their idols, and everybody's like, "You forgot Randon." I'm like, "I didn't forget Randon. Randon was not voted out with an idol. He was medevaced with." I don't did he yes, he got the idol. But he was medevaced with an idol in his pocket, but like that
Well,
that's not the same. That's
it's
not
not
even
the
remotely the
same.
same.
It's
No,
not the
it's
same.
not even remotely the same. And
It's
I'm
not.
like people are
I'm
like,
just saying,
"Eh."
people leaving with that shit in their pockets because he could have slipped it to somebody. I don't know,
No, he
but
can't he really couldn't have. If like as soon as Jeff and Dr. Will showed up and they
oh
said
no,
you're
no, I'm talking
full,
about like before they show up. Like he knows he's having some issues.
but he might not have known that I think at that point he was not fearing that he was being pulled. Like I don't think that they really gave him any indication to have been concerned about that. Do I think in hindsight he should have just given it to Venus because, but like what if he gave it to Venus and then he was fine and then she didn't want to give it back? I that it's the risk. So it's like I don't know how I feel about the medevac one. But then people were like, why isn't somebody passing off their idol when they get voted out, it's like, because it's dead. Once you're voted out, whatever you have in your possession is dead. You are dead.
Yeah.
Everything's dead. The end. So, uh,
It's fucking wild, man. Just
it
fucking
really
wild.
is. It's
Speaking of wild, can like we got a reward chat, like a sponsored reward challenge we talked about at the top of the episode, but I really want to talk about like what are your feelings on Q not picking Liz to eat Applebee's?
well, first, my question is, who actually runs this episode? You or me? No, I'm just kidding. You're doing such a good job of driving it today. We're having a conversation. I am off my game, so she's fucking killing it right now.
Oh yeah,
Second of all,
I'm just vibing with the vibes.
you're absolutely killing it. So I was just trying to shoot the shit when I'm clearly not in a mindset to have any jokes.
I got you, babe.
Anyways, I okay. I I don't necessarily judge Q for not picking Liz. Especially Liz voted for him. Liz has been gunning for him. Liz is like literally the one person she wants out of the game is him. And now she's mad that he won't take her on a reward. My other thing is, as we have learned from Tiffany, apparently Kenzie and Maria wanted to give up their portion of the reward for Liz, and Q put his foot down and was like, nope, my choices stand. I'm not letting that happen. I picked you for a reason, and you're going on the reward with me. So that, I don't know how I feel about that. I do
Kind of a dick
understand.
move.
I do understand from a strategy point of view where it's like, hey, these are the people I want to go bring with me. He doesn't have to save for strategy, but we know that there's a piece of it because it's trying to be a strategic move. But it's like,
So this is
what's
why I
better
wanted to talk to
strategy?
you about it, because like I do think that like yeah, he tried to have some strategy here, but I think this was the wrong one.
Hmm.
I think, well, first of all, your logic is flawed. If you're saying, well, like Liz voted for it, no, well, so did Kenzie.
Don't you
Uh,
want to sweeten the deal too? Like, if you're going to try and sweeten the deal with Kenzie, why wouldn't you want to try and sweeten it with Liz too? If you
Thank
already
you.
think you have Tiff and Maria on your side.
We talked about this last week. Q had nowhere to go. He had no one, right? He had no one. He just got Maria, and even that, like, I don't think he's really fully understood like
Yeah.
the
Just,
shield she wants him to be for her.
yeah.
But at this point, like you have an opportunity. You have a woman who has been wanting you out, begging you. I don't understand why more deals aren't made, like in this, at least what I've seen in the new era, the way they are in Big Brother. You can bounce checks, I'm sure, on the island just like you can in Big Brother too, but at least shoot your shot. Just say, like, Liz, don't put my name on the parchment. Come have a burger. Like that deal can be made. I don't see any rules that say you can't make that deal. It's his choice. But like, so sweeten the deal.
Oh, it's
He's
totally been done
literally
before.
crying and literally begging. And if you want to like make this like a hardened game move or a strategy game move, fine. Make amends with Tiff. Okay. You have Maria. Why wouldn't you want a sure ally to stay behind with the people who aren't with you, and then take Liz, who's one of your most like active like anti supporters, like the one that's trying to get you out, take her along. Keep Maria your ally. I get you want to thank her, whatever. But like we see it all the time. Leave someone you trust behind.
Yep.
Take the people you don't trust. I don't I mean, I'm getting I just don't it's Q though. So like we just need to quit trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in his head.
Every time I try to guess, I'm wrong. So I just stop at this point. I'll tell you, when I picked him for my winner's draft, I was not expecting him to A, get this far, or B, cause this level of chaos. I'm pretty. It's so much fun. And I gotta say, one of the things that has come up a lot has been like some people find this season one of the more boring seasons because there are no advantages or twists and no one's playing their idols. I'm like, I actually think that's the fun part because people are playing the game. They're playing it raw. And it's not that they feel like their votes are being constantly hindered by the thought of a knowledge is power or steal a vote. Like it doesn't cloud somebody's judgment and make it go like, because I feel like it's why we've seen so many one-sided votes in New Era. So and it's one of those reasons why I'm not a fan of having all of those twists. If you want to have one twist in the game alongside all the idols, one single twist, fine. But when you're just giving constant opportunities to just have a million, there were a lot of opportunities for a twist to enter the game actually this season. Nobody just won them. And that's, I'm not mad about it because it's, I hope they can see you don't need to overcomplicate the game
No.
for you to have one of your most entertaining seasons
I
of all
feel
time.
yes, and we've been saying that for every show we cover.
I'm gonna scream into the void forever.
I hate a twist. So I'm kind of here
I
for this.
I like a twist. So when, because the hidden immunity idol wasn't even always a thing, and when it came in, everybody was skeptical. They're like, I don't know how I feel, and it needed some tweaking the first couple seasons, but they did a really good job of tweaking it because at first you could play it after the votes were read, and everybody was like, "Wow, I don't know how I feel about that." There was some debate, and they decided that wasn't the right way to go about a twist like that. You needed to play it before and kind of like gamble it and see if you really, and that's why it has stayed that way for Jesus, how long now? Almost 2 decades.
There's
Almost 2 decades. So, like, that's how you have a healthy twist. No one's saying that knowledge is power couldn't be something, like, way more entertaining and powerful, but you need to, like, take the critiques that come from it, or the hourglass twist. No one's saying that can't be interesting, but you need to take the
I
critiques that
I
come
did
with
like the
it.
hourglass twist. I didn't like how it played out, but it had potential.
I did and I didn't. I didn't like where they placed it, but I did like it as a twist itself. Because the way they did it where they kinda like, they screwed with people at the merge, I didn't like that they got no warning on that. That really rubbed me the wrong way. But I don't think that, like, the idea was bad, and I don't know. It's just like, don't just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Like, let's like be constructive and kind of think about what we can do. It just feels like they're like, here's a whole bunch of crafts that we have sitting on an island. How do we build the game? And it's like that really shouldn't be the way they go about it, in my opinion. I think that's not a healthy way to have a show. But
There's a really good question. I don't know. I would be interested. Is this the first sponsored award in the new era?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Applebee's has done the other ones. But I don't know. I haven't honestly like
I don't
a lot of
remember.
times I don't put thought into that, so but I could be wrong. So don't take my word for it, Lucas. The legitimate answer is I do not know. My guess would be no, but my memory is not one you should rely on.
Well, another question like this has to be first of all, there's absolutely no fucking way that this clip of Liz screaming is not going to like get repeated as over and over in future seasons and get called back to when they occasionally do with some of those but they're all older. So
I'm
I don't know of a new era moment that's this significant and would have given Jeff like his little drama boner.
It's just like also when you cast these kinds of people who are just they are themselves just characters that you don't need to build the character around them. Like that's always what's made this show so entertaining. It's like we need more Liz's. We need the ones who are just gonna be willing to say how they feel, be totally unapologetically themselves. And that part that they don't want to apologize for is just to use a word that Banu used, being a bit of a wackadoodle, where you're
Yeah.
just kind of like bouncing off the walls
This is
and
why I need to get you on to watching Squid Games The Challenge, ma'am, for this
yeah.
reason, because there's so many Liz's, there's so many Banus, there's so many of these, not even just all dramatic moments, just these like just people and being raw and vulnerable and no like production fuckery and like these are the moments like this was who would have thought though that last week when we were guessing on the Liz scream in the preview for this week that it would have been about a bourbon burger from Applebee's. That to me was wild.
I mean this in the kindest way because honestly, to be fair, I might have had some similar reactions to her, not the whole package. Like when I got back to camp, I might have been that way where I was just talking about the burger incessantly. Just being like, that goddamn burger. I just missed that burger. And everybody around me being like, yeah,
But it wasn't just
that.
a burger either. It
I
was
know.
her burger. It was her order that she orders every single week with her daughter for their survivor night. Like it was so poetic. That was her burger. My gut was like, I was upset for her. I was so pissed. Q's a villain. Fuck that guy. Blah blah blah. Now, like that, I've like settled and let it sit in. Like I really do hate this for her. I love, we'll share what Applebee's and Chili's are taking really good care of our girl Liz. But I think that strategically this wasn't a good move for Q. But as far as like as an emotional decision, it's a game, and I couldn't personally do it, but I can't I don't think I could justifiably sit there and judge someone for not making the same moves that I would make on an emotional level.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't know. I do think it was wild that Q was like, apparently, we didn't see this, so this is all alleged from Tiffany, but like, it is kind of wild to me that like people apparently offered it up and he was like, no,
No.
no. I
That
mean,
that
am I
is very good.
surprised? No,
I'm
but it's
surprised. I'm very surprised that got cut.
like,
He's already getting like a villain edit, so why not spread it on thicker?
maybe they don't want a dog pile.
Maybe. I don't
All I
know,
can
but
think of.
if you're feeling really bad for Liz, we do have, like, some breaking news that came out right before we went live,
Doop doop doop
and
doop 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 doop
on
doop doop.
Twitter, Applebee's, for those of you who are listening, I will read it. Applebee's tweeted to Liz, "Liz, we value traditions and don't think trying a burger from some chili joint will satisfy your needs or your stomach. Head to your DMs for a delicious surprise for the entire family." And Chili's
Look, Chili's did this first. They did
Chili's
that
went
and then
first. Sorry. So they're kind of like fighting back and forth. But Chili's had tweeted Liz, saying, "Liz, we have a mushroom Swiss burger too. And to be honest, it's better. We'd love to send you a gift from us so you and your daughter can start a new tradition." And then it did
shot
a winky face.
fired.
I love this. I
Shot
love this for
fired.
her.
It's so funny.
I love this for her. I love sassy corporate social media accounts.
It depends for me. For me, it's hit or miss because some of them cannot read a room, and it's like, what are you doing?
I like when Lay's got involved with Big Brother and Taylor. Like,
I think I said that I said the exact same thing though when we talked about Taylor and the Lay's chips because like I am very picky about it. Like if you do it right, I don't mind. Like so these situations were fine because like they were brought up and it was like perfect. Like it was handed to them. They deserved to do it. It's like when people like sometimes like I'll have a random brand like comment on one of my videos on TikTok and the brand doesn't even have anything to do with the video and I'm like, "Politely, what are you doing? What why are
Yeah.
you what's the like cuz it'll be like there was one that I had, oh, I wish I could remember. It was one on my laptop. I made a laptop joke, had to shut the comments off cuz men can't take a joke sometimes. But
Which is why we picked the bear. But go ahead.
but yeah, and fuck, what was I just saying? ADHD.
You made a
Hold on.
laptop joke and you turned the comments
Oh
off.
yeah, and one of them, it wasn't like Coca-Cola, but it was like a very random like food and beverage brand that commented. And I'm like, it wasn't Coca-Cola, by the way. I'm not saying that was you, Coca, but it's just
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
that was pretty much what it was. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, I was like, leave this conversation. You have no point. There wasn't. It was. They were trying to be witty, and their comment was funny. But I was like, but it's not funny coming from you because you don't have
Yeah. What are you doing here?
You have no role in this.
I don't know. It's
So,
like
I
Spicy
did
Jeff
like
and this
these.
Jeff with the popcorn at Tribal and the now Applebee's and Chili's are getting spicy. And like I'm just here for it. I'm just here for
Well,
the spice
I
and the
did I did get a little, like,
The
chirpy
world's
with
really
Liz.
fucking ugly right now, so, like, I like my shits and giggles when I can get them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say, um, one of the things, and I'm not saying that Liz was necessarily wrong at all, but, like, she was like, "I haven't eaten since the merge," and I'm like, "Missy, you had popcorn at tribal council."
Okay, she had
I'm
4 pieces.
I
Calm down.
I was just gonna say that. I understand. I was gonna say, I understand, but, like, she was like, "I haven't had a single piece of food
Popcorn
since
is up
merge."
there.
She ate food though. I'm a person who takes words seriously. She's like, "I haven't had a single piece of food since the merge." And I'm like, "No, I'm not even saying you had a substantial amount of food, but phrase it a little different because you have. Everybody was handed food at that tribal
If I had 4
council."
pieces of popcorn, I wouldn't count it either, okay?
Oh,
Like,
when
that's
you're
just
on an
addictions at
island and
this
you
point.
haven't eaten though, would you? Because I
What?
feel like you would if you were on an island with no food, I would count that
I
as
was
a
on an island on
substantive meal.
with no food, me and everybody around me would have much bigger problems than an Applebee's burger, okay?
So true. Well,
Um,
and wait, so can I just say my favorite fucking part of this? And it sparks another conversation. It's not even my favorite because 'cause I'm like, "Ha ha, Liz." It was just the drama of it all. No one ate the
the
burger.
burgers, yeah. But, like, I was concerned with they got the Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp and all those mashed potatoes. I was like, "They're gonna be so sick," and then they
Dead.
bust out these big ass burgers after they've had these giant sugary drinks. I was like, "Y'all all gonna be
Oh,
puking your
you
guts
do
out."
know a lot of times they don't show it, but a lot of times people get very sick from those rewards. Like, they gorge, and then they go puke overnight.
I
So many
yeah, they
times.
don't need to show me because I know it's happening. They came out with those margaritas, and I'm like, I don't even have to be starving on an island to know that I will puke after that. That's so much fucking sugar. But like to have your body not conditioned for that kind of intake, and then you're gonna bust out this burger too, like
Well, the
out
burger
of
should have come first if they were really being smart about how they were serving them, and I understand they were serving them probably like
but then
appetizers
they
and
wouldn't have got
meals
the
and
beautiful moment where Tiff said, I was so full I couldn't even eat the burger in front of Liz and watch Liz like just see fucking red.
oh my god! So
I
I'm
was
on
like,
both
all you
sides.
bitches better sleep with one eye open tonight because she's about to read, like all up on y'all.
See, I'm on both sides of that one though. First of all, I just wanna make it clear, I don't think Tiff meant anything malicious. I'm not
She did
sitting there
not.
like, I
Absolutely.
just wanna be so
But
clear.
I'm that petty bitch that
I
if I'm
am
pissed about this,
too. I am too. I would have literally
it
done
would
the
have made
same
my
thing,
eye
walked
twitch.
off and said the exact words to the like, that conversation that she had with the camera when she was, like, talking about, what Tiffany was saying. I'm like, "Oh, dear God, I'm embarrassed because that's me to a T." I would have been so
Bitch, I
hangry,
would
I
have
would have done
texted
it
you.
too.
I would have texted you and point once. She would have said that. No,
Oh, it was literally, like, so us. It was so perfect. Um, so but first of all, I just wanna be clear, like, I also understand if I was one that got the reward, I too would probably accidentally forget my filter and be like, "I had this, and I had this, and it was amazing," and then everybody, like, accidentally reading the room halfway through the conversation be like, "Oh,
oh, after
that
that
was a
outburst,
bad
I'm sorry,
choice."
typically, yes, if Liz would have kept like her seething to herself, maybe. But after that outburst,
Yeah.
when we came back to camp, I would have one either steer clear of Liz altogether or two, just been like, is there anything I can do for you? Do you like you want a massage? I'm so sorry. I didn't choose. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have been able to be around her without my guilt just like seeping through my pores. It would have kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, I feel that. I absolutely feel that. Um, I thought I had a note on that.
But like, man, for Liz to still be able to vote Tiff after that level, I mean, I don't think it made again, we're gonna circle back. I don't think it made any sense for her game, but like just on a pettiness level and with the amount of emotions coursing through her veins in that moment. Oh,
Serious question. Do you because we really don't know a lot of what about the why behind Liz's decision. So this is a serious question,
mhm.
and we do not know the answer. Do you think that there is even a semblance of motivation behind that vote because she was upset that Tiffany was just being like, "I ate this food and I ate that food. I didn't eat the burger." Do you think that there was any piece of her that was being a little I'm not even sure I know, it just popped in my head, so I'm asking, like, straight up, what do you think?
Listen, I am like the Mrs. P.E. to the T.T.Y. So listen, I can be the pettiest of petty. And I can tell you, like, yes, Tiffany's comment would have upset. I could put myself in Liz's shoes.
Yeah.
Tiffany's comment would have upset me. I still would have wanted to smother Q in his sleep more.
Jesus.
Especially if the people that got the reward were trying to give me their spot and he was like,
Oh my god.
no.
No,
No,
ma'am.
no one would have been bigger enemy than him. And so I just can't like how she got past that. I'll never know. Not to mention the fact that it was so very clear to me her path to have a move here to get
Yeah.
Tiffany to play her idol, get Q out, and to have that kind of emotional motivation behind it. Like when you want someone out on a personal level and you want to go after somebody on that kind of personal level, we've seen it time and time again, and even in Big Brother, where you get that tunnel vision, where you can justify any move if you try hard enough. This would have been like, it makes no sense to me. She wants him out with a passion. So when they come to her and say, you're the vote, she knows Tiffany has the idol. All these pieces are here for her to at least, I mean, yes, I think it would have been the better strategic move for her, but like even emotionally, okay, well, if I give Tiffany a heads up or plant the seed with her, make her paranoid enough to play her idol, I can still get Q out and Tiffany flushes her idol and I can have like my vengeance, my burger vengeance.
And the burger. No, I'm just kidding, I wish. But, yeah, I feel like a lot of the drama happened before the immunity challenge, and I mean, before the immunity challenge, we're really still finding Charlie and Maria in the middle of everything. How they have managed to so successfully play the middle is
Charlie won
one for the
2
history books.
back-to-back immunity challenges when every target that's gone out have been competition threats and people who are big competitors. I'm very, very worried for Charlie. Not right in this moment because there is still a lot of smoke screen, but who knows? Maria can actually make Q go to the end with her, and like that's an easy win for her. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like that was a really dangerous game. I don't think he needed that win. I saw, our dear friend um quoted, like, he commented on Twitter saying, like, I do think that he needed this move. He needed Tiffany out, like, to get Tiffany out. She didn't, she also had an idol, so there were I get that.
That's what I was gonna come from too.
I get it. I see that. I just think that, like, Tiffany has an idol. You have a collective target against Q. It's very much the Q and Tiffany show right now. So if Q goes home, Tiffany just won immunity and has an idol. Like, she's still way in front of you as far as a target line. And he's just been so good at so many comps. I'm genuinely worried for when people start to notice that because he really only has Maria. If you think about it, like, anybody could turn on him. Anybody else will turn on him. Maria will turn on him.
I think he has Ben. I think he definitely has, like, Ben too, like, I mean,
I would have thought so too until this episode, though, because up until this episode, Ben has played a very like heart-strong game, and he really, really doesn't like Q and the vibes that Q brings. And he flipped first, like they just said, "Well, Tiffany's the bigger threat," and he was like, "Okay, yeah, you're right, and let's vote Tiffany."
I do agree, but I think the difference is that Charlie and Maria and Ben were all Sega. I think there's gonna be a little bit it's gonna take a little bit more of a push. I'm not disagreeing, and I do think that he would be willing to flip, but I think it's gonna take much more of a push for him to make that flip for Charlie than it did for him to try and get, Tiffany. Um,
I feel like we've
but
seen this not
I think
just in
it's a
Survivor,
valid.
but in Big Brother, but when the same people are winning the same the comps over and over, and you get desperate enough to want that immunity necklace around your like, I'm only looking at people who are standing in my way, and the people who are winning that aren't me are my problem.
Yep. So, yeah, it definitely didn't help. I think ultimately, I think he would have dropped had either it had Tiffany dropped before him. I think all he was just doing was waiting for Tiffany to drop, and once she dropped, he felt comfortable yeeting himself out of the competition. But when Maria dropped and Tiffany was still in, he's like, "Well, I guess it's up to me to make sure that this happens." So I genuinely think that is the reason why he did it. I
Yeah.
don't know how much it's gonna help his game. I think it was a risk, and it's a gamble. You have to take risks in this game in order to win it. If you don't take risks, they're very I'm not gonna say there aren't Survivor winners that have played low risk games, because there are I wouldn't say plenty, but there are good number. Um, can think of a couple, but it doesn't necessarily negate the power of their game, but it's much harder to win when you don't have that, so
I just I again, Tiffany and Q and Charlie, those are your big comp threats. If I'm Charlie, I'm just sitting here thinking too, like, I feel like more people should be scared of the threat that Q is. One, he can win out from here.
I absolutely agree.
He can win out from here. Two, when you are that big of the villain on the island and you have no one, you're actually a bigger commodity. And it's not just a Survivor thing. This is like a literally in all of these shows kind of things. We've seen it time and time again. Who wouldn't want to sit next to him at the end?
And the problem is he really shouldn't. I actually wouldn't wanna take him to the end. Right now, it's not the worst choice, but I really wouldn't wanna take him because he's gonna have that argument of, "Look, I was down and out." All like,
But how is Charlie, who has Maria, not noticing Maria now has Q, who can win competitions and keep her safe? And she could absolutely beat at the end next to, whereas Charlie's won enough competitions and is like has had a better social game. I'm just saying if I were Charlie, I'd
yeah,
be a lot more paranoid about keeping Q
yeah.
in the game because he could be a more enticing option for Maria.
I'd like to see more from Charlie on that in the next episode. So similar to like I want to hear what Liz says about this vote, why she flipped, what her thoughts were. Very much same for Charlie. I really want to like know more about what he's thinking about Maria and Q's relationship, if he's concerned about it at all. If he's not, then I'm concerned for Charlie. So really this episode coming up is going to be really indicative of how I feel. I think you're right to be concerned, but I'm just not jumping to that level because I just don't know what he's saying, but I think it's right to be, like, raising a red flag and being like,
Yeah.
not the best." Especially because he is playing such a fantastic game, um, one of the best games on the island, in my opinion, so, he
Now,
should be worried.
I feel like, Kinsey has really put herself in a spot here too.
Yep,
Kinsey, made a cardinal mistake in, like, trying to make a move, and it didn't pan out for her. She turned on her own side to the
yep,
other side, didn't pan out. That information's out there now. She's as good as gone. Like, she tried to get her number 1 out, very publicly, and now she kinda really doesn't have like, it could be very easy for her to be left alone in this game. I feel like Venus is in a good spot for now because again, there's the Q show of it all. Um,
wouldn't it be hilarious if it was, like, I'm not saying I actually think this is realistically what it's gonna be, but, like, just wouldn't it be hilarious if after all of this, the final 3 ended up being, like, Liz, Ben, and Venus, all the underdogs,
yeah, but yeah,
because
and I feel like that would be a very frustrating as a viewer because as it stands right now, like Venus has been savage and she has given us some good like moments, but as far as moves and like gameplay, I feel like she's doing okay.
well, I think
Okay.
it's partially because people haven't been giving her a chance to work with them, and it's largely because Hunter and Tevin just threw all sorts of shade
Yes.
on her.
But
But,
then
like,
you have Ben,
she
who I'm
also isn't
still
reading the
waiting
room
for Ben
well.
to make a move.
Right.
I'm still waiting for Ben to do he's very charming and I adore him, but I'm still waiting for him
Mm.
to actually take charge of his own game here.
I was expecting more from him at this point,
Mhm.
and I mean that because, like, you know me, he is, like, one of my favorite people on this cast, but I can't say that his game is my favorite right now. I do think what we're getting from him, though, these little bits and pieces that we're being fed, like, he was very pro, getting Q out this week. So, like, I'm wondering if we're maybe being fed little bits and pieces that we need for something that's coming in the future, or it really could just be filler. We're really not gonna know until he goes home, or makes a move. So, it's gotta be one or the other. So if you're, listening to us right now, we're actually pulling up our winners draft because 'cause we've already talked about it a little bit, but Tiffany did go home. So, to my surprise, at least, I'm now in the lead in the winners
Mhm.
draft with 4 people left, and Sarah only has 3. Sarah, you have some decent people.
I do, but, when I'm looking at this, I currently don't see a path for Liz to win. I currently
I
don't see a path for Ben to win. I
I
could
see a
absolutely
small
see Charlie winning.
I see a small path for Liz, but I think it's she is on a balance beam, and if she loses any more of that balance beam, nah, she's fallen
Yeah.
off. But yes, I'm with you. I
I
think
see
Charlie's your best.
I could see Charlie is definitely my best. Out of yours, I see a Mariah win.
Maria,
I
you mean?
don't I mean, Q's got a really good shot at being carried to the end here, I feel at this point.
I think Maria made the game-winning move that tooting my own horn, I absolutely called last week. Not to be like, "Oh, I'm happy that Tiff is gone," but, like, y'all can play back the tapes.
Yeah,
We
I
were making
did.
predictions. Well, you also what did you called something, and we were just talking about it, weren't we? You called something from last week, and you were like, "I knew this was
Oh,
gonna
no, I
happen."
called something from preseason, and I said Tiffany
Oh,
was an
yes.
absolute going to be a comp beast, and watch out that she was going to shock everyone in the competitions.
Thought there was something else, but it's not your
Um,
fault. I'm just not thinking of it.
oh, and that it was Liz that was gonna lose it over something?
Oh, yes, yes, that's the one. That is the thing because we were debating if it was I was convinced it could be Kenzie, just because Kenzie has been going off on Q and being like, "What the fuck, man?" So I was like, "Hey, I'll play the devil's advocate." That was a good call on your part. But yeah, definitely gonna toot my horn a little bit on that Maria
Should.
move. Saw that one set up from a mile away, and I'm really proud of her. Um, you said you were worried for Charlie, but I'm also worried for her.
Mhm.
Um, Venus
Anytime
is
someone, who wasn't in a leadership position quickly moves into that position, they get a spotlight on them that they didn't have necessarily before, and she's not really working under the cover of darkness here. She's
no.
not exactly being subtle about these moves. She's very much wanting the immediate credit, which is why I feel like Liz tipping off Tiffany silently would be a good resume move to bring up at the finale where it's not as public in the moment, but I feel like this how you pronounce their tribe, Nui Nui, all
I
together.
honestly did they ever tell us how they pronounce it?
I think
Because
it's
they just
Nui
showed it
Nui,
on the
maybe?
screen.
I
I've
don't think they've ever really said it out loud. I've been listening, but I don't ever hear it.
never heard it.
Um, but I feel like collectively that they're like, I want this move, and they're just like not just saying it in a confessional, they're like saying it to each other and like out on the island and stuff. And
Yep.
that worries me. That kind of worries me.
Likewise. Um,
Lucas thinks Charlie or Kinsey will win.
I think Kenzie's got a really good path to the end.
She
I think
does. I'm worried about her. I mean, I said it last week that I feel like the tip shot was just smidge too early. And I feel like that might has potential to blow up in her face.
it could. And it could be but if who are you saying blow up in Kenzie's face? Because I think it could potentially I think it could really be blowing up in potentially Maria's face. Um if Kenzie is upset that she wasn't able to make that move when she made it clear to Maria that she wanted to make that move,
Mhm.
like, she might be like, "Well, damn, she just took my move, and she knew it."
No,
That
for
could be
sure.
an incentive for her to just go up to, because we also hear
But who does
Venus.
Kinsey have? She wants to go to war with
Anybody at the
Maria.
bottom. Anybody at the bottom. Venus will do whatever good game move exists. Liz is already, like, willing to, clearly she's malleable if she was willing to abandon her distaste for Q so quickly in order to get Tiffany out. Um, that's just where I come, like, I think that she could really rally people.
I think
She have to be
she's going to have
careful.
a very hard time getting anyone to trust her enough to
Well,
work with her.
no, I think she's got Ben. That would absolutely go with her. That's 1
Yeah.
vote. She's 2. Venus would be 3, and all she needs is a 4th. That's all.
I'm
All she
just
needs is
looking
Liz.
and I just see Maria with more numbers here. Like, if we're doing a
I
Maria
disagree.
versus Kinsey battle here,
I disagree. I think it would be Maria 3 and Kenzie 4. I think Maria would only have Q and Charlie.
I'm just reading Lucas's
Oh,
comments.
you are good. But obviously agree to disagree. It's not like we need to agree on that because it's all speculation. Next week though, we're gonna see everybody doing some idol hunting.
About
Um,
fucking time.
I know. S Not sure why we didn't get that in the last episode, but it was a choice. Um, like I said, Venus calls Maria a villain, which is, like, really, I think is gonna be really important to the episode. That's part of why I'm wondering if somebody is gonna be, like, kinda getting the oomph to try and get Maria out, but who knows? Could just be that they're reacting to how that went down the night before. Any other big notes? Liz is still adamant about getting Q out, it seems. So we'll see how that goes
I
for the
hope it
5th
works out for
time.
her. I'm telling you, the longer he stays in, the more nervous I get, is that he's an easy carry, you
I
know?
know. I agree. And then apparently Q is, like, looked at the camera, he's like, "I don't feel guilty." About what? I don't know, but we
Not
shall
getting
see.
Liz her burger.
What the fuck was that noise?
I mean,
Sorry, something, I just got distracted. And then that's pretty much all we really know. And then we don't have a sneak peek yet because we're recording early this week. So, Lo siento, nothing for you there. But one little last thing before we log off, I will be going to the Bryce and Wen event at Game On Fenway this coming Wednesday.
so fucking
So
jealous.
I'm so excited. I live for this event every year. So it'll be fun. Hopefully I can see some of you guys there. But yeah, it should be a good time. It's a lot of I mean, Big Brother alum go to it too. Um, I am trying to think of anybody who's going, but I can't literally think of anybody I saw on the thing, so that's just gooch of me. I should have had all of that written down. But it should be fun, and I've already gone to one of Charlie's events this year, so it's always a good time. Survivor events in Boston are fun.
And the
So
GOAT starts tonight.
yeah, so they dropped it. They dropped the first episode a week early. Weird choice, but it is a choice, and I'm excited to go check it out after we record. So, anything else you want to say before we wrap up? Because otherwise, we got a show to watch.
Yes, we're gonna watch the GOAT, but I think I need to watch another episode. I'm this it's hot topics right now, and I know you're not a Netflix girly, but I started Baby Reindeer. And I'm just gonna say this, like, if you think that you're gonna start the show, 1, absolutely do it. 2, have the GOAT, Survivor, Big Brother, even, or like me, New Girl, to watch immediately afterward. Do not go to bed right before. It's not that it's overly scary, it's just it will fuck with you. It will fuck with you. And this has apparently been one of Netflix's, like, highest rated early, like, shows they've ever released, like, this, the ratings and the views this early on. um I recommend. I can't do more than an episode in a night though, because it's a lot. It's a lot to chew on. It's a lot to digest, and but I did want to put my endorsement out there since we talk TV. You're muted?
Sorry, we have something going on in the bathroom, so I was like trying to be slick about it. Sorry, but that wraps up this episode of Wicked Unscripted. If you like what you hear, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. We're also regularly posting updates on TikTok, so make sure you follow us at It's Abigail Adams, Sarah Talks Big Brother, Wicked Unscripted, all that good stuff. If you want to ask us a question, share your thoughts, or leave us a tip, email the podcast at wickedunscriptedpod, P-O-D, at gmail.com for more. That is Wicked Unscripted Pod, spelled Pod, at gmail.com for more. We're always looking for fresh and diverse voices to join the conversation. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.